yeah. They scared to come outside. Tell them boys they better pray. Tell them boys stay out the way. Tell them ain't nobody safe on my mama, on my game. We gon' put it in their face, yeah. They scared to come outside.
Niggas know we stepping night and day. God know I'm stepping now and later. Until it hurts, it ain't no mercy, that's just how we made it. You heard that church up in my verses, cause that's how I'm raised. I told God he gotta forgive me, I'm insane, oh. Get down on my knees when I'm in pain, oh. Tired of the rain on my name.
I clean this blood off my Jesus, please.
Oh, Jesus, please. Can you feel my needs, yeah? Tired of fucking up, I'm in the streets, yeah. Tryna take the weight that's hurt inside of me.
Scared to come outside.
God, I need a second chance. Knowing that I love you, but sometimes I do the devil dance. Lost a couple of my partners, so I'm sliding out of whoever in. Drop one of them niggas when I kill them, call the reverend, yeah. Cause no weapon formed against me shall prosper, yeah. God know I'm clutching on this chopper, yeah. Waiting on them boys outside.
Scared to come outside.
Ooh, yeah.
Niggas know we stepping night and day. Niggas know we stepping now and later. Until it hurts, it ain't no mercy, that's just how we made. You hear the church up in my verses, that's just how we made. Though I feel cursed, I pray for better days. Seems like yesterday we was catching plays, and it's been hard on me lately, I can't catch a break. I'm losing niggas on the day to day. Every day I pray, only God can take this hate away. Lord knows if I see him, I'm gonna have to spray. You know that same spot I seen him is the spot he lay. I clean his blood on my Jesus, please. Jesus, please, say there's a heaven for a real one. I had to smoke him, even Moses had to kill one. Do it for the bills, I swear this shit is getting ill. They scared to come outside.
Ooh, yeah.
Niggas know we stepping night and day.
Know I'm stepping night and day.
Niggas know we stepping now and later.
Yeah.
It hurts, it ain't no mercy, that's just how we made. You hear the church up in my verses, that's just how we made.
Oh, you hear that church up in my burger, that's just how I'm raised. Glock off in my britches, that's just how I'm came. Keep a 30 on me, nigga, don't get out the way. Yeah. Know I get my preacher on. Yeah, big ol' Dells and Eagle on. Fly in the Eagle, big ol' shooter, pull up in them Regals on. Drop out none of my people, this that gang gang. I put them demons on you. Pussy nigga not equal, we told heaters. I got the ether on. They didn't believe I'm the people choice. They didn't believe in us. Run down on you in them Adidas,
They scared to come outside.
Keep running, come round, she wanna get hit.
She thinks she done made me, cause I keep her by my side. Double up, bust on her watch, she know that I'm timeless.
I put my son in some red. I pull that gun off the hip. Pockets on 22 clips. I'll break her heart, come I go so. Put on a shirt, get put on a blick. Feel like a stain, get ready to lit. I had to tell her that ever since I was a dick. No, I was shit. She singing my songs, she wanna dial it. Tryna get hit, house like a bait. The price of they beat, price of that check. Smile on my face, ain't paying shit. Come and get checked, ice on my neck. Diamond on her wrist, she in the sky. Hell of a cat, fish out the church, 400 packs.
Yeah, I spend it in Paris. That's for these hoes, they finna flock. Just for fun, it's all they pop. Them toes finna hit, I'm feeling hip. I'm rusting the all on my divas.
Feel like the rock.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been legit. If I was you, I would cut up my wrist. Exotic all over her body. Oh. She just wanna roll and I don't mind it. Ever since I was a G, I've been legit. Now you should let her go. She wanna be next. Double O tatted on her body. It don't matter what they say. I'm timeless. City on fire when I'm coming home. Fill up the sky, I fill up the dome. They'll play it one day. It's a hell of a show, but it's gonna hurt, cause we did it first. Feel like skateboard beat, BBC boys on the creep. Feel like it's 03, Neptune drum with a beat. She hit me flipping a beat. She wanna fuck with the team. She fell in love with the cream. She fell in love with the scene. Oh yeah, her man quiet, not a beat. Broke his heart, PTSD. Hold his chest, let it breathe, let it breathe. Nigga scheming, I got a priest. He got a cross, get out of line, send him to God. I shed a tear, pray for her loss, oh yeah. Ever since I was a kid, I've been legit. If I was you, I would cut on my wrist. Exotic all over her body. She just wanna roll and I don't mind it. Ever since I was a G, I've been legit. You should let her go. She wanna be double O tatted on her body. It don't matter what they say. I'm timeless, 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 timeless. We timeless, 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 timeless. We timeless.
Just come outside for the night. Take your time, get your life. Dirty night.
The career's more at stake when you in your prime. Fuck that paper, baby, my face on the dotted line. I've been flying out of town for some peace of mind. It's like always, they just want a peace of mind. I've been focused on the future, never on right now. What I'm sipping, I kombucha, either pink or brown. I'm the one that introduced you to the you right now.
Oh my God, that be babe, well alright. Tryna fight in the night, come alive. Ain't a sneak.
Come on, man.
Watch me pop my shit, get it live. Hold up, yeah, you try to come run back the shit. They popping your tires. Hold up, shit. 100 round, feeling like I'm on team. Playing both sides of these hoes. Shot out on fucking your friends. I've been going crazy, shot. I've been in the deep end. She not in the scene. Shit, she tryna go. I just been my hoes. I just been dripping my hoes. I put the bitch on the road. me, she tryna show me something. I got flows for days, niggas ain't on nothing. Me and my bro like me, you know we on one. We in the spot going crazy until the sun up. You worried about that hoe done chose up. Pistol solid in the kitchen, can't get us a cold up. Why the fuck these niggas acting like they know it? Double O kick the shit we told up. Switch out the bed, these niggas get rolled up. Everything hit, everything. Take it too hard.
We the best music.
Yeah, good morning. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. We're going to start the show here in just a minute. Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. The link is in the description. Let's talk some college football.
I'm in a different mode. It's my life, do what I want. I be with different hoes. You know the pick and roll. I picked her up and sent her home. I got rich out strong. We get them in and get them gone. You know Trappy just got out. Ain't have to put them on. We the ones who got the numbers to put the city on. It's the middle of the summer, I got a hoodie on. My demon time ain't nothing nice. I try not to wear nothing tight. I came up off of shooting dice. Yeah. My little brother ain't living right. My sister them doing alright. My cousin them still serving life. Yeah. Seen the robber digging. I seen the preacher get caught for cheating. I break the bank for one of my people. I said I'm the one they didn't believe me. I show them the facts, now they all need me. I'ma get cake as long as I'm breathing. They making it hard, this shit really easy. Yeah. I'ma turn up on a hater every chance that I get. I want the biggest watcher they got, don't care if that shit hurt my wrist. All these hoes fuck on us all, I wish I would claim that bitch. They get hard when they get guns, we got a hood full of sticks. Soon as they say we can't come, you know we'll run around that bitch. You can mix me with that shit, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes. You know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes. Yeah. She think I'm a regular rapper, I'm not. One person come tell me we fucking you block. Watch me run this shit to the tip of the top, yeah.
Keep going.
Put my kids in Givenchy, she must ain't 1 + 1 is 3. I can't support your personal needs. She don't got a mortgage, moved in with a need. These niggas be capping, them cars be leased. Youngers in charge, I speak for the streets. I would nod and nod. They woke up.
Come on, man.
Used to have water for dinner, we didn't have nothing to eat. Soon as I get on his ass, they gon' look on me bad. I'm like, damn, he was fucking with me. Yeah. I'ma turn up on a hater every chance that I get. I want the biggest watcher they got, don't care if that shit hurt my wrist. All these hoes fuck on us all, I wish I would claim that bitch. They get hard when they get guns, we got a hood full of sticks. Soon as they say we can't come, you know we'll run around that bitch. You can mix me with that shit, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes. You know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes.
I'm from the trenches, niggas be tough on the net, but really be there for attention. Bitches be talking like they really rich, but really be begging me under my pictures. I give her 40, 50,000 cash to start up a business. I spend that shit at the dentist. I'd rather fucking impale but rent for a year just to get out of her feelings. I'm in the Lambo truck in my hood, nobody gon' tell me shit. Going to Cali, I pick my weed for sure, nobody gon' mail me shit. Dice game, crops a CeeLo, I need cash, don't sell me shit. Baby got his hood, I'm smashing, you can tell they really rich. Drop the low, ain't no room right now, I took her to the O. Then I put up on the lamp, cause she a fan of Booney Mo. I got the city on lock, fucking up all the ops. I be around with $3 million in jury, I'm standing on all the blocks. This an anthem, dropping the 6 in the Phantom, Black Rose truck with the all-white seats, remind me I'm sitting on Panda, I love my cousin, she was a dancer. I love my brother, he was a scammer. Sit on my lap cause I'm pulling her tracks, and I fuck on the back cause she calling me handsome. Yeah.
I'ma turn up on a hater every chance that I get. I want the biggest watcher they got, don't care if that shit hurt my wrist. All these hoes fuck on us all, I wish I would claim that bitch. They get hard when they get guns, we got a hood full of sticks. Soon as they say we can't come, you know we'll run around that bitch. You can mix me with that shit, you know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes. You know I live in the mix. Money, cars, and clothes and hoes.
We the best music. Another one.
Smirk. Big brr.
Cherry Production.
I don't know where you get something back from me, shit. Shit. Yeah, I get it, this shit in blood, huh? Bitch,
Bitch, I got my own fight, don't need security in the club. All they wolfing on the net, nigga, I thought you was a thug. I ain't got nowhere to go, I shot up everywhere they was. Yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood. Brr, brr, bitch, come get it back in blood. We ain't mask up, no Dodger X, niggas know who it was. Storing shit just like the 80s, want some back, get it in blood. Yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood. If a nigga killer ain't dead, you should wear no RP shirt. We had 300 shots up in the car before we picked up dirt. You niggas who ain't got shit going, go grab a glizzy, get alert. Shots to G-Post RP and Breezy, he in the dirt. Brr, you gotta know I go too far. Got 2 O's up on this 100, one of them might stand for O-Block. About 20 some shots left up in the K, 15 still in the Glock. Leave my door unlocked and stop, I like getting on feet, park the car. Brr, we get up close, doing dirt, I ain't showing love. 11,000 all ones, left my right pocket in the club. These blue faces up on me dirty, I went got it out the mud. If I took some, get it in blood, I don't give a fuck where we was. Bitch, I got my own fight, don't need security in the club. All they wolfing on the net, nigga, I thought you was a thug. I ain't got no word.
Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!
Yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood. Brr, brr, bitch, come get it back in blood. We ain't mask up, no Dodger X, niggas know who it was. Storing shit just like the 80s, want some back, get it in blood. Yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood.
Killed your man, you keep on talking, better get that shit in blood. Give my shorty them a dub, then they gon' walk inside his club. Hit his little ass with that switch, I bet that switch up his nerve. Fuck the ops inside my city, little bro, put them in the mud. You can't come back to your hood, huh? No. He was dissing on my cousin, now his ass all in that wood, huh? Book his ass, I wish he would come. Pussy. V-Roy pop up out that car with that new Glock, I wish he would run. His ass playing, bitch, I'm really icy, really icy. Who shicey, that's my dog. But fool, you know I'm really shicey. You told all them OT niggas that you really slide. Pussy. Tell the truth about your game, bitch, they really dying.
Bitch, I got my own fight, don't need security in the club. All they wolfing on the net, nigga, I thought you was a thug. I ain't got nowhere to go, I shot up everywhere they was. Yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood. Brr, brr, bitch, come get it back in blood. We ain't mask up, no Dodger X, niggas know who it was. Storing shit just like the 80s, want some back, get it in blood. Yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood. Bitch, brr, come get it back in blood. Brr, big brr.
Jerry Production.
Good morning, it's Uncle Lou here. That's right, it is me, Uncle Lou. Live on LouTube for you. Thanks for watching. This is Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show, and we do this every Tuesday and Thursday night at 9 p.m. If you want to be a part of the show tonight, the link to call in is in the description of the video. It's a StreamYard link. Use it from any phone. It's really easy. Just click that link. It'll put you in a back room where you can listen to the show. When it's your turn to come on, I will put you on, and we'll talk some college football. How'd that be? I think that'd be just fine. Made it back safe and sound from my last trip of the off season. No more trips for Uncle Lou until the end of college football season. There's a chance I might take a day trip a day or two after Christmas. But other than that, I will be right here from now through the end of the college football season to talk college football with you guys, which, of course, I always look forward to. Yeah. The best season of the year, football season. Fuck the 4 seasons. There's only 2. There's college football season and there's not college football season. And fortunately for us, we're almost done with not college football season. Coaches poll came out today. Fall camp is underway. So lots to talk about now through the start of the season, which is Saturday, August 29th with week 0. Couple of interesting matchups. TCU and North Carolina play over in Ireland. Handful of other games that we'll be keeping an eye on for week 0, which is really just an appetizer for the real start of the season the following week, week 1, where we get not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 straight days of college football to kick off week 1, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then we are off to the races for the 2026 college football season. I've got the coaches poll pulled up in case anybody wants to call in and overreact to it. I was alarmed to find out today that the coaches have SEC bias. That's right. The SEC has the most amount of teams ranked in the top 25 in the coaches poll. And if there's one thing I know about coaches across the country from coast to coast in all of the different conferences, they're all just there to prop up the SEC. That's it. They are SEC biased, and that is the only reason the SEC has more teams than anybody else in the top 25. Because anytime you see anything you don't like, it's because of SEC bias. So just keep that in mind. But I do have the top 25 pulled up in case anybody wants to call in and discuss it or even talk about it too. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. We are into August now. I believe today is August 4th. Is that right? Yes, today is August 4th. 29 minus 4. Now, I'm not an oceanographer, but I believe 29 minus 4 is 25. 25 days away from the start of college football season. I'm excited. I know y'all are too, and I'm looking forward to talking some college football with y'all, not just tonight, but throughout the course of the season on these call-in shows. Don't forget I do this year-round, not just during the season, but obviously it's a lot more exciting during the season, and we have a lot more to talk about. I will be live streaming every Saturday during the season, like I have been doing the last 5 or 6 years. Make sure you're signed up on the Patreon. I know a lot of y'all sign up there during the season and then opt out during the off season. Opt out like Notre Dame in a bowl game. If that's you, make sure you get back on the good foot. The link to the Patreon page is in the description of the video. We will start the Patreon streams for this season on week 0. And per normal, we'll let the good people over on Patreon choose the streaming schedule every single Saturday over the course of the college football season. Big shout out to everybody who is over there on the Patreon page. I would not be able to do this full-time, year-round without the support I get on the Patreon page. So big shout out to everybody who chooses to join the Patreon page. Y'all are the real MVPs. All right, let's see who's here. And more importantly, who's not here. Airplane Spotter, Matt Dummett, Grumpy Clemson fan, Joseph Sandberg, David Neal, Sir UGA, what's up, buddy? Hogman, Caroline, G-Man, Nick DTV, Ostentatious, the Your Season is Over Wall is here. By Insanity, Robert Sharpton, Go Dogs, Sikkim 706, which is probably the best area code on the planet. 706. Josh the Hog Man is here. Baylor Man is here. Hufferbilly Paw. Jay Shipes. What's up, Jay? Good to see you in here, buddy. Shane Michael Cup. Big Gators fan 15. James Cooper. The Duck Knight. DXR Helto. Yeah. Me so thorny. That cracks me up every time I read it. Be so thorny. Roger Dodger, what's up, buddy? Moose Paca, Fred Likes Bread, Dirty Bird Mac, AFO 1328, Clay Moore, not the mine, but the actual person, Clay Moore. Yeah. Chinsey F1 Trap tells me I feel like he tells me what that is every time, and I still keep forgetting. What is that? Chinsey, you have to tell me again. Donovan, what's up, buddy? Adam Reinecker, where are the mascots? Woo, they're in the living room. They're giving Uncle Lou a break tonight, so they're actually in the living room with the lady right now. Thanks for axing. Yeah, thanks for axing though. Yeah, Cayman Chris is here. Nicholas DePerno, thank you for hitting the super chat tonight. Super chat, a great way to help support the show. And of course, whatever you type in your super chat, Uncle Lou will read. However, keep in mind, I will react to whatever you type appropriately. So Just keep that in mind based on what it is you might decide you want to type. But Nicholas DePerno says, I thought Texas would be ranked higher than Ohio State in the coaches poll, but I don't have any major problem with the top 10. Yeah, I will put the top 25 back up in a second, and I'll just give you my quick thoughts or rundown on it. You guys know I don't get too wrapped up or bent out of shape about any ranking, especially not a ranking that's not the College Football Playoff Committee ranking, but we will go through it, and I'll see if there's anything that, to me, looks obviously out of place. Randy Anderson, good to see you. Yeah, Brian Gentry, I was down with a knee replacement. Dang. I didn't technically have a knee replacement, but I did have knee surgery twice. Uncle Lou, when are you doing the Penn State game-by-game prediction? I put in a request on Patreon. I've got the entire list right here, Mr. Nixon. And guess what? Penn State is on it. As well as NC State, Wisconsin, Iowa, Auburn, South Carolina, West Virginia, Baylor, Missouri, South Florida, Nebraska, Oregon, Bama, Mississippi State, Central Florida, and Georgia, which, of course, I did today. I've got the Dogs going 11-1 with a loss on the road at Ole Miss. Hard to win on the road. I do think they beat Bama this year. I think Georgia takes care of Bama on the road in Tuscaloosa. Yes, Georgia's my favorite team. No, I don't pick Georgia to beat Bama every time. In fact, I am 3-0 picking the Georgia-Bama game in their last 3 matchups. I picked Bama in the regular season 2 years ago. I was right. I picked Bama in the regular season in Athens last year. I was right. And I picked Georgia in the SEC championship game, and I was right. I hope my streak continues and I'm right again and Georgia goes into Tuscaloosa and gets the win, but I completely understand that a lot of people are going to push back on that, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Alabama has had Georgia's number during the Kirby Smart tenure, and there's no doubt about that. And it will be a difficult, it will be a tough task for the Dogs to go in there and win. But that's what I have there. All right, I'll put the top 25 up, and I'll kind of go through it here. I don't have much. The biggest issue I would have in the top 10, and I don't even think this is, I've got Miami a lot higher. I've got Miami at 1, in fact, in the last ranking that I did. I do 3 top 25 rankings during the offseason. That's it. I do 1 in February. I do 1 after spring practice at the end of April, and I do a 3rd one next Monday. So I haven't done my final preseason ranking yet. But in the one I did after spring practice, I had Miami at 1. I feel like 7 is a little low for Miami. I don't feel like it's so low that you're like, well, that's disrespectful to Miami or whatever. Those top 7 teams there are pretty much the top 7 in every single ranking I've seen this offseason, no matter who put the ranking out. The order has been a little different, but I feel like if you're in the top 7 there, I think that's the right top 7 teams. And then you just, at that point, you're debating on the order. Beyond that, I understand why Texas A&M is ranked in the top 10. I don't think Texas A&M is finishing in the top 10, but you never know what people are doing when they put their individual rankings out. Are they projecting where they think teams will finish, or are they ranking teams where they feel like teams deserve to be ranked today or whatever day they're making the top 25? I can understand an argument of putting Texas A&M in the top 10 based on someone's feeling that they deserve to be a top 10 team heading into the season based off the fact that they went 11-1 last year in the regular season. I don't think they're finishing in the top 10 this year, though. They have a much more difficult schedule this year within the SEC than they did last year. And I think they're more likely to lose 3 or 4 games and finish borderline top 15-ish, top 20-ish than they are to finish in the top 10. But I don't have a problem with them being ranked there. Ole Miss is another one that could easily fall out of the top 10 by the end of the season. A lot of new there, all new coaching staff, difficult schedule. I've been talking about this all off season. All anybody wants to talk about with Ole Miss, and I get it, is the LSU game, and I believe it's week 3 or 4. in Ole Miss, and it's going to be a massive game. There's no doubt, no question about it. And I do think Ole Miss is good. I think there's a possibility Ole Miss loses in week 1 to Louisville. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk myself into making an actual prediction of that, Louisville beating Ole Miss in week 1. But I'm not going to be very surprised or shocked at all if that's what ends up happening. I think Louisville is a good team. I think Braum is a great coach. They've got a good quarterback. And it feels like Ole Miss has a lot of eggs in the LSU basket. And if they're not ready for Louisville, Louisville will go in there and beat them. And speaking of Louisville, that is who I think got the biggest snub here in the top 25. I can't understand Louisville not being in the top 25. They've been one of the most consistently good teams in the ACC for several years now. National title worthy? No, but they've been pretty steady. They of course beat Miami last year, one of only 3 teams to do that all year long. I'm surprised they're not in the top 25. But continuing on here from 11 to 15, Bama at 11. Bama is there's a large, you know how people like to do ceiling and floor, like, oh, the worst this team can do is 10-2, or they might go 12-0. To me, there's a wide range of possibilities for Alabama. They had a terrible offensive line last year and no run game at all. And I can't really see what they've done to remedy that from a roster standpoint. Now, you can talk to me about their practice habits and they're emphasizing the run game, and all of that I'm sure is true. But without having seen them play a game and just looking at the moves they made in the offseason, where it be portal or players they've recruited over the last couple of years that'll be playing this year, I don't know that I am completely sold on the offensive line or the running game. And we don't really know who's going to be the quarterback, Keelan Russell or Austin Mack. I think either quarterback could end up being capable, and they've got Ryan Williams when he decides to show up at wide receiver, and I think their defense will be good. But when you look at Bama's schedule, there is a wide range of possibilities that go from about 11 wins to 7 or 8. But I can understand them being ranked there at 11. Texas Tech at 12. I think that's about right. I think they're going undefeated. I think they're the best team in the Big 12. I think they'll probably beat the Big 12. But let's be real, and I've said this before too about Texas Tech. I don't think anybody's going to care what they do in the regular season. I just don't. People like to talk about respect and disrespect and all that. I don't think there's anything Texas Tech can do in the regular season to, quote unquote, earn the respect of the college football public. They blew out everybody they played last year in the regular season. They won every game by 24 points or more. Then they got to the playoffs and couldn't get a first down. Never mind a touchdown or a competitive game. They just got embarrassed. I think the Texas Tech performance against Oregon was worse than the Alabama performance against Indiana. It was humiliating. Now, Texas Tech may get to the playoffs and put up 40 points. We'll see. I'm not saying they will or they won't. But in terms of, because I've seen people all day today, Texas Tech should be higher than 12. They're going 12-0. They might go 12-0. But I don't have a problem with having them closer to 12 than 1. Just, it is what it is. LSU at 13 is another one that I wouldn't be surprised if they went 8-4. I wouldn't be surprised if they went 11-1 and we're playing for the SEC championship. I do think Lane Kiffin's a really good coach. If he can turn Sam Leavitt into a game-winning quarterback, and I know Arizona State went to the playoffs with him a couple of years ago, but that was a running team with Cam Scatterboo. If they get the offense figured out quick enough, they're going to be tough for anybody to beat. Southern Cal at 14 makes sense. I think they're a playoff contender. I don't believe in the defense until I see it, but I can understand having them in the top 15. Same with BYU. I've got offensive questions there, especially when it comes to throwing the ball, but I understand having them in the top 15. Michigan at 16. Penn State at 17 is the other one that a lot of people want to talk about. I mentioned earlier, you never know when people put these rankings out are they projecting forward? And that's how they're ranking now? Because when you look at Penn State's schedule, and you look at the fact that they basically portaled in the entire Iowa State team from last year to Penn State, along with the coaching staff is there too. You look at the schedule and you go, probably going to win 9 games. And they might win 9 games. And if they do, 17 is a pretty accurate ranking. But when it comes to Penn State and Clemson in particular on this poll here, at least how I do my ranking, I won't have Penn State or Clemson ranked at all. I do my ranking based on how I think teams deserve to be ranked, not on how I think they will finish. Much like Penn State, I won't be surprised if Clemson wins 8 or 9 games and finishes the season ranked. But I don't think they deserve to be ranked in a preseason poll. Penn State or Clemson, either one. Tennessee at 18 feels probably right. I've got Tennessee at 8-4, but if the quarterback is half as good as Tennessee fans are pretending that he is, and Jim Knowles gets that defense fixed quicker than I think he will, I could see Tennessee winning maybe 9 games and finishing right there around 18. Washington, I think, is a good team. I think they're one of those teams in that second tier in the Big Ten behind the top 3. You know, you got Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, sort of top tier teams in the Big Ten. And then I would have in a tier under that, you know, Southern Cal, Michigan, Washington, Iowa, all of which are ranked here. SMU at 20 makes sense to me. I think they're the third best team in the ACC on paper heading into the season. Played for the ACC championship a couple of years ago, made the playoffs a couple of years ago. Utah at 21, good record last year, new coaching staff. I believe, did they lose all 5 starting offensive linemen, Utah? Not very many hurdles to jump over in the Big 12, though. I mean, if you're listing, I guess I can understand having Utah ranked in the top 25 in the preseason, but I think there are some other teams in the Big 12 that could jump them over the course of the season. Kansas State, Houston, who's on here at 24. You've got Iowa at 22. They win 8 or 9 games a year in their sleep. They're not going to beat any of the top teams in the Big 10, though, so this seems like a fair ranking. Already talked about Clemson. Houston, I think, is a sleeper to make the playoffs and a sleeper to win the Big 12. They play Texas Tech early in the year, week 3 or 4 in Lubbock. I believe it's on a Friday night. Massive game in the Big 12. They won 9 or 10 games last year. Houston did. Like the coaching staff. I like the quarterback. They got a good offense. Could be a good game. And then Missouri at 25. I never really can figure out Missouri. They've got a decent record the last couple of years. But if you look at who they beat and who they lose to, they beat the bottom half of the SEC every time they play them, and they lose to the top half of the SEC every time they play them. So in terms of trying to figure out what Missouri's record will be, you look at their schedule and, you know, you mark a loss next to anybody you think is going to be in the top 7 or 8 in the SEC, and you give them a win against anybody you think is going to be in the bottom 7 or 8. And so depending on their schedule, they could go 6-6 or they could go 10-2. Do like their running back, Ahmad Hardy. I know he had an incident this offseason. By incident, I mean he was shot, but apparently he has recovered from that. I hope he is. He's an exciting player to watch. So that's my thoughts there on the coaches' top 25, which, of course, matters absolutely 0. Not at all. All right. Questions, concerns, comments even? No? Good. Everybody agrees with the coaches poll? Everybody agrees with me. Okay, good. That's great news. I like to hear that. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Lou, what's going on, man?
Hey, buddy. I'm good.
What's your thoughts on Oklahoma this year?
I think Oklahoma could be really good. I think they could contend in the SEC, and I think they could make the playoffs again. But every offseason, I get people ask me 100 times, Lou, who that made the playoffs last year or who that's ranked in the top 15 is going to completely fall off the map, because it happens every year. Last year, Clemson and Penn State were ranked in the top 5. They couldn't win a game. There's somebody that happens to every year. I have no idea who it's going to be. I decided early on I was going to say it's Oklahoma. So
Oh, really?
I didn't even rank them in my top 25 that I did after signing day. Caught a lot of heat from Oklahoma fans. I tried to explain why I didn't rank them. Yes, I think Oklahoma deserves to be ranked inside of every single top 15, and I understand why the coaches have them at 9. I do. If they get the running game figured out there and Mateer can stay healthy, we know the defense is going to be good. Probably keep them in almost every game they play. But everybody always wants me to pick one team in the top 15 that's going to drop off. And so I decided to pick one, and the one that I picked was Oklahoma. Now, I'm more likely to be wrong there, but here's the thing. Take any team in the top 15. You're more likely to be wrong than right no matter who you pick in the top 15. It's one thing to go, somebody in the top 15 is going to finish at 8-4 and unranked. Like, we all know that because it happens every year. Trying to pick which team it's going to be, impossible task. But people wouldn't leave me alone about it, so I made a decision, and I picked Oklahoma. I'll likely be wrong, and if I am, the Oklahoma fans control me.
No, but for sure, yeah. When you go in like 15 to 25, there's a lot better chance that one of them teams not making the playoffs.
Yeah, there's other teams in there too, by the
way.
Michigan, who is just outside the top 15 in this coaching ranking that came out, or this coaches poll that came out. They've got Michigan at 16. I think it's possible Michigan finishes outside the top 25. I think it's possible Ole Miss finishes outside the top 25. I think it's possible Texas A&M finishes outside the top 25. I don't think anybody in the top 5 is finishing outside the top 25, although, like I said, last year, 2 teams in the top 5 finished outside the top 25, Clemson and Penn State. So it's, Oklahoma's not the only team I think could finish outside the top 25, but people always want me to name one, so that's the one that I went with.
Now, I didn't really look at Ole Miss schedule. I like their roster a lot, so I didn't anticipate them falling out of the top 25, but I'm glad you brought up Michigan, because what am I missing? I mean, I know they're at home. I get that. What am I missing with Michigan being picked over Oklahoma? Because I know Kyle Whittingham's coming in. I like him. I respect the hell out of what he did in Utah.
Yeah.
But I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, and look, I mean, Oklahoma's got a tough schedule, but so does Michigan, too. And Bryce Underwood, we could say whatever you want about John Mateer, is better than Bryce Underwood last year. So now I do think Whittingham is going to unlock some running stuff with Bryce Underwood that maybe we didn't see as much of last year as we thought we would. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bryce Underwood run for 600 or 700 yards this year. But they lost Justice Haynes, their best running back, to the portal. He's at Georgia Tech now. They've got another a really good one, too. And they always have a good offensive line. But, like, it seems like the wide receivers are always lackluster there. And unless Bryce Underwood takes a major step forward, Michigan's probably going to win, 8 or, I mean, they went 9-3 last year with him as a first-year starter. So if he doesn't improve at all, they can probably go 9-3 again. But I think the worst-case scenario for them would be 8-4. We'll find out a lot when they play Oklahoma early in the year. It's in Michigan.
Now, I hear what you're saying about them unlocking some stuff in the running game with him. But, I mean, this is also Oklahoma we're talking about. And, much to what my Hurricanes did last year, they bring back almost everybody of significance on defensive line. So, I mean, I just don't know. That's a tough one. I kind of got a little beef with Venables because he took shots at Mario his first offseason, his second offseason there. But, I actually like the roster. And, me being an ACC guy, I like the receiver Trell Harris that they got from Virginia, because I'm always keeping tabs on, to see who we might play in the ACC championship game that we've only made once in 20 years, but that's a whole nother conversation. But, I like the Livingstone kid they got over from Texas.
Yeah.
I think there's some intriguing possibilities over there with Oklahoma. But, I mean, I do see them as a team.
Oklahoma could win the SEC, but I mean, Michigan could win the Big Ten. I mean, that's the thing. There is no obvious answer to the question of which top 15 team is going to shit the bed and finish unranked. I mean, there was not a soul on planet Earth that was sitting here this time last year telling everybody that James Franklin was going to get fired in October. I mean, so we have no idea who it's going to be. There is no rational explanation for any of these top 15 teams to finish unranked. That's why they're ranked in the top 15. I can make all kinds of rational explanations for why Florida's going to be unranked at the end of the year, but they're not in the top 15.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
there are
For sure.
arguments against any team in the top 15 that you want to talk about finishing unranked.
Yeah, Florida's an intriguing team too. Obviously we know Summerall turned his last 2 jobs around super fast. Obviously, this is a different ball game now. I'm curious to see how that goes. Everybody.
Well, he didn't have to turn around Tulane. I mean, Tulane was busy beating Southern Cal in a New Year's Six game before Summerall was ever there. So Tulane, he walked into a good situation at Tulane. I'm not that. I'm not saying that means he's a bad coach, but he didn't turn Tulane around. I mean, they were good when he got.
More
in
so
fact,
Troy,
he won less games. He won less games his first year there than they had won the year before.
Right. More so Troy. He kind of kept it churning at Tulane. You're right about that. Yeah. But I've been hearing for the past 2 years from Gators fans that they got the best wide receiver core in the SEC.
Yeah. Best everything. Every offseason we hear it. Yeah. Now, I do like their wide receivers. I would trade I'm a Georgia fan. I would trade my wide receiver room for Florida's. Yes, I would. But we don't know who the quarterback is there. And even if we knew, we don't know how good they are. Neither one of them have played. I mean, Aaron Philo played a little at Georgia Tech. But you don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. The offensive line, I've got questions there. I don't question the skill position players. The wide receivers and the running back, I would take their top 3 wide receivers and their top running back at Georgia right now.
Yeah, speaking of Georgia, I was looking at you guys' roster, and I was looking at wide receiver room, and I was like, man, I don't want to say it's depleted, but it's not a lot to
unless
be
you're a
excited
Georgia
about.
fan. Unless you're a Georgia fan, you can't name any of them. Like they're no one knows who they are. They're all young, unproven. It's all young, unproven talent outside of the transfer from Georgia Tech. Who best case scenario with him, he's a Colby Young replacement, which is what 400 or 500 yards a year. He's 6'4", 215. An outside guy, which I'm glad we got him because you need that. But everybody else is first and second year players who, if you're not a Georgia fan, you've never heard of them before. So somebody's going to have to step up there, whether it's Talon Taylor or someone else. Or Georgia is going to continue to bump their head on the same ceiling they've been bumping it on the last 2 years, which is they'll get to the playoffs somehow at 10-2 because Kirby and the staff he's got there is one of the best in the country and they're talented. But when you get into the playoffs and you're playing, top 10 teams, and you don't have a wide receiver that any defensive coordinator has to respect at all, that's a problem. And I know we had Zachariah Branch last year, and look, I'm glad we had him, or we wouldn't have even got where we got. But when I talk about wide receivers, I'm talking about your Jeremiah Smiths and your Cam Colemans and your outside wide receivers. Zachariah Branch, I don't like to use the word gimmick player because it has a negative connotation, but snapping the ball and throwing it to Zachariah Branch and letting him run because he's the fastest player on the field, that's amazing when you have Zachariah Branch. But we don't have him anymore.
Right.
So our leading returning receiver had 240 yards last year, and he's a transfer from Vandy from 3 off seasons ago, London Humphreys. So they got to find an answer at wide receiver and pass rush. If they don't find somebody that can sack the quarterback and a wide receiver that worries people, they will likely lose in the second round of the playoffs for the 3rd year in a row.
Would you think it'd be fair to say that, like, from just a physically imposing standpoint, that this is probably the least physically imposing Georgia roster in the last 3 years?
Maybe at wide receiver, but I think the offensive line has a chance to be one of the best in the country, and I think Georgia's defensive line has a chance to be the best it's been since the national title years. I mean, you got Elijah Griffin, a second-year guy, Jordan Hall. I mean, there's NFL talent on the defensive line. I don't think people will run the ball against Georgia, not consistently.
How do you feel about the backfield? How do you feel about Frazier and Chauncey?
Yeah, I love both of them. I wish we had a sort of known third back, just because I've been watching college football a long time, and almost every team in the country now rotates at least 2, usually 3 running backs, and they tried to go get that kid out of the portal, and flipped a four-wheeler over on himself or whatever he did, and so now he's out for the year. Dante Dowdle or whatever his name. I wasn't all that excited about him to be. He's one of those guys. He transferred to Georgia this offseason. Georgia's his fourth team in 4 years.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that necessarily means somebody's terrible, but I don't like that.
Unless your fourth team's Indiana, it might not be a sign of a good thing.
Yeah, I don't like that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm happy he hurt himself in an ATV accident. Right. I don't ever want to see that. But Georgia kind of got very unlucky with their portal class. So they brought him in at running back.
Yeah, I just watched your video earlier today.
And they bring Amaris Williams in from Auburn to sack the quarterback, and he blows his knee out in the spring. He's done for the year. So, they got to find somebody that knows how to tackle I go to sleep at night and close my eyes. I see Trinidad Chambliss running wind sprints in the backfield. And we don't have anybody that can get to him. And I get it that Trinidad Chambliss is an amazing athlete and an amazing quarterback, but it wasn't just Trinidad Chambliss. Georgia was dead last in the SEC in sacks. And when you look at the way they've recruited, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, I was really surprised. What did you guys have, 20 last year?
Something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but I know they were last in the SEC. And I'm so sick of Kirby using the phrase "affect the quarterback." I almost want to throw up every time I hear it. It's just an excuse for we can't tackle the quarterback. The best way I know of, the best way anybody knows of to sack the quarterback. To affect the quarterback is to tackle his ass. We affected Trinidad Chambliss for 4 quarters. The guy ran 9 miles around us. We couldn't, so it doesn't do no good if you affecting him. Doesn't do any good if you can't get to him. I'm so sick of it. Well, people overblow the sack numbers. It's about affecting the quarterback. A sack is pretty effective, bud. And I suggest Georgia finds somebody who knows how to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, one more question. There's been a lot of conversation about, especially with media days, about, now they're saying that the Big Ten is top heavy and, the SEC has more depth. Who do you think out of the two, major conferences right now, who do you think is more respectable in the middle?
Yeah, I think the only place right now that the SEC has I think there's 2 areas where the SEC has an advantage over the Big Ten right now. Total draftable players, which doesn't matter if those draftable players are busy losing to the Big Ten, but it's been proven in the draft that the SEC's got more draftable players, and I think the bottom 3 teams in the SEC would go 6-0 if they played the bottom 6 teams in the Big Ten. The bottom of the Big Ten is horrific. Purdue, these teams are terrible. Michigan State, they're horrific. But Purdue and Michigan State wouldn't beat. Mississippi State would beat Purdue by 30. But that's it. The top and the middle, I think the middle is close, but the results on the field tell you the Big Ten's better in the middle. We see it. And if a team shows up to play a game, the game counts. That's it.
Right.
Period. Not, this guy didn't play or this team didn't want to be. They showed up to play.
Right, and that goes to depth. So if
you don't show up to play, and if you don't want to win, so the team wanted to win, or they wouldn't have showed up. But then they lost, and then the fans say, "Well, that means the game doesn't matter." No, if the game is played and doesn't get vacated, then the game matters. So you can't tell me that the middle of the SEC is better than better than the middle of the Big Ten, because we see it every year for the last 2 years. And the Big Ten wins. So I think the top of the Big Ten is better. The middle of the Big Ten is better. The SEC has an advantage in the bottom. I think the bottom 2 or 3 teams in the SEC would beat the bottom 4, 5, 6 teams in the Big Ten, whatever teams those are. But as far as who's the better conference, it's the Big Ten. And it's not just because of the national titles. The national titles is another check mark in the Big Ten column. But like 2023, the year Michigan won the Natty, I don't think the Big Ten was better than the SEC. Just like in 2018 when Clemson won the Natty, I don't think the ACC was better than the Big Ten that year. just because Clemson won the Natty. So it's not just the Natty. I think the SEC was better in 2023, but it was very close. I think the Big Ten was better in 2024, but it was close. But it was very close. And I think the Big Ten was obviously better last year than the SEC. So SEC's got some ground to make up there.
Nah, for sure, for sure. All right, Lou, man, I appreciate you, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for calling in, man. Good to hear from you. Yep. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's up, Lou?
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah. How have you been? It's been a while since I've been able to call in. I've been busy with life and everything.
I hear you. Yeah, I understand. No, I've been good. How about you?
Been doing good. Ready for college football to start.
You and me both, buddy. I can't wait.
There's one thing that I wanted to say. Back when you did the game by game prediction for the Auburn Florida game.
Yes.
And I'm actually going to that game.
Be a good one.
And and I agree with you that the winner of that game will have a better season than the loser. I feel that if Auburn can start off strong and have good quarterback play, which I think that it'll be better this year, but it just all depends on if they come out strong. If Auburn comes out strong, they should win that game. But if they start off slow, like they have been, and all that, it might be a long year.
Yeah, they got to find some offense. I mean, the defense kept them in a lot of those games last year, the Georgia game, Bama game, but their offense was just terrible under Hugh Freeze. They could never find the right answer at quarterback, and I think Byron Brown is good. Do I think he'll put up numbers against the SEC week in and week out like he did at South Florida? No, but I think he's still going to be good.
Oh, yeah,
he
definitely.
ran for over 1,000 yards, threw for over 3,000, and he's taken the same system with him from South Florida to Auburn, so there's nothing new to learn there. Same coaching staff, but like they lost Cam Coleman and they don't have anybody anywhere even close that can replace that. And if the defense takes any kind of a step back, then that means the offense is going to have to be a whole lot better from the word go. And we'll find out. They play Baylor early in the year. And then of course they've got the Florida game week 3 at home. The Baylor game's a home game too, but it's being played in Atlanta. So we'll know about both Florida and Auburn in week 3 when we see that game. I think it's going to be a good one. Big advantage for Auburn to have that game.
I think so too. And I got one more question, and I'll let you go. I don't know if you've talked about this or not, but what do you think about the SEC getting away from the NCAA and making their own super conference?
Yeah, not happening.
Oh, you don't think that's going to happen?
No, not happening.
Oh,
and it would be a disaster if it did. But no, that's not going to happen. That's just the SEC people being mad and trying to get their way. That's all that is.
I understand that. Well, I appreciate you, Uncle Lou, and you have a good morning.
Yep, you too, buddy. Speaking of that, so that bill in Congress, the Save College Sports Act or whatever, that everybody supported except the Big Ten and the SEC. Well, the Big Ten and the SEC spent the last month lobbying Congress, which is code for paying them money, to have changes put into the bill in their favor. And they have come out over the last couple of days, the SEC and the Big Ten, and said that they now support the bill, the Save College Sports Act. So it's going to pass the House, and then it'll go to the Senate, and we'll see what happens. It hasn't been finalized yet, but it'll probably pass the House. But there's some interesting things in there. The most interesting thing in there to me is two things that are related. They are limiting the teams. They are limiting conferences to, is it 19 teams? 19 or 20? They are limiting conferences to 19 or 20 teams. On top of that, if you are in another conference and you leave that conference to go to whatever let's use Florida State as an example, all right? Because they're the most obvious one, because they're the loudest crybabies. Florida State wants out of the ACC. They're saving up their nickels to try to come up with enough money to buy their way out, hoping that they can then get into the SEC or the Big Ten. If this bill passes and becomes law, and you're in the ACC, you're Florida State, and you're in the ACC, and you leave the ACC, you cannot join any other conference for 5 years. 5 years, which means you have to go the Notre Dame route you have to become independent for 5 years before you can join another conference. I can't believe they got that in there. I've never even heard that idea before, but I think I kind of like it. I think that will really make teams think twice about jumping ship and abandoning the conference they're in, which 99% of college football fans on earth don't like. You know, everybody I hear from every day says, I wish we could go back to 10 years ago and Texas and Oklahoma were in the Big 12 and Nebraska was in the Big 12 and the Pac-12 still existed and all that. So it would be really hard for teams to have to go independent for 5 years and wait to get into that other conference. So I don't know. That's interesting to me. That's interesting to me. But we'll see what happens with that. What happens with that bill? I don't expect anything to happen on it before the midterms, which are in November. But we'll see. Anyway, I did think that was interesting. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yo, what's up, Lou?
Hey, buddy.
You know, USC and Notre Dame, the rivalry is back, man.
Yes, it is. Starting in 2030, I think.
Yep, they finally balled down, but they're not playing no games with them.
Yeah, they moved it up to week 1 the first year, and either week 1, 2, or 3 the following year. Yeah.
And also, what I want to talk about, I think UC and this coaching school, they should not be 14th. I think they should be around 20th to 25.
What?
On the coaching school.
Who?
USC. My Trojans.
They should be 14 to 25?
Yeah, like around 20 to 25.
Oh, they should be 20 to 25, not 14.
No, yeah, you're right.
Oh, so you think your team is overranked?
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, until we
now, do you think it's because of Big Ten bias? Is that why? Is it because of Big Ten bias? Is that why Southern Cal is 14?
No, I think it's USC bias.
Oh, USC bias.
Yeah, until we beat Oregon or Penn State on the road, Indiana, I don't think we should be ranked top 15.
Yeah.
None of them top 20.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's all I want to talk about.
Okay. All right. Southern Cal is overranked. All right. Thank you for the call. I think around 15 is the right spot for Southern Cal. I mean, it's not like they were terrible. They went 9-3 last year. I got a lot back on offense, a Heisman caliber QB like they do every year. I mean, I have questions about the defense like every other sane person on the planet does. And I kind of agree with what he's saying. Like, can we see them beat a top 10 team, a top 15 team? Can they beat an Oregon? Can they beat whoever? We'll see. If they can't, they won't go much higher than 14. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Yo, what's going on, Lou? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, buddy.
Shit, I'm good. I'm ready for the season to start.
Yeah, me too.
Haven't been able to join lately, but I'm excited just to get going. Excited to watch football. Even the Hall of Fame games this week.
Yeah,
Thursday night. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no more weekends without football. We've NFL. If you're into that kind of deal, the preseason starts this week, Thursday night. It'll be on during the call-in show.
Just as a betting man, a very dry time, man.
Yo,
I'm wondering how you're doing on that.
Well, I somehow got lucky and I've hit a couple of baseball games this week, so I'm actually up, I think, $240 for the week. But I just blind bet baseball. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I literally only bet baseball because there's nothing else to bet.
Even if you know baseball, it is the most unpredictable sport of all time. Like a minus 220 is we'll be down 4-0 start the game.
Yeah.
So that's all. Just checking in. I can't wait for the season.
Yeah, me too, buddy. I'm counting down the days. Thank you for the call. Good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. Alabama fan.
Testing. Hey, Lou.
Testing.
Sorry, I had the mic settings wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm here now. Okay. How you doing tonight?
Doing great.
Good. I want to get 2 questions in for you. In your opinion, who is the most overranked top 25 team? And then, what is the media seeing in quarterback Austin Mack instead of Keelan Russell for Alabama this year, man?
What is the media?
Let me know.
I don't understand.
They're like projecting him to be the starter.
Oh, well, he's been with Kalen DeBoer for 4 years, so I mean that's probably why. I mean, my opinion is clear. I think it should be Keelan Russell. I think Austin Mack should have transferred out. He's going to be. I mean, I feel bad for him if he didn't start, but I would go with Keelan Russell. As far as why the media likes Austin Mack, I have no idea. You'd have to ask whoever the media is.
Yeah, I just
can't
know
tell you what somebody else thinks.
Yeah, I think it was Colin Gay or whoever from Tuscaloosa News put out a projected depth chart.
Yeah, my advice would be to ask him why he said that. I have no idea why he said. I don't know why he said that. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just him. I mean, there's podcasters and everybody.
Ask them. I like Keelan Russell. So the only thing would ask me would be, why do you like Keelan Russell? You can't ask me why somebody else thinks something. I have no idea. I barely know why I think what I do.
Fair enough. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate
All right, Ballard. Thank you for the call, buddy. Mesmerizing as usual. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. How's it going?
Hey, buddy. What's up? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Oh, a couple things. The first thing is, I agree with the bill to kind of pass in Congress, especially with the not being able to join a conference for 5 years. You know, we need, in my opinion, we need more stability. And I don't want, 25-team super conference or an NFL situation coming with the SEC post Big Ten.
Are you calling in from a McDonald's drive-through?
No. Why?
I was just wondering. What'd you say now?
I was saying I support the bill in Congress where they don't, where you can't transfer to another school for 5 years. You have to be independent.
Oh, changing conferences. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have never heard that idea before. I didn't even know that was a part of the bill, but it is interesting to me. I think that is probably. Here's the thing: if they're going to make rules restricting what the players can do, then it's fair game to make rules restricting what the schools can do. Like because the one-time transfer limit is back. If this bill passes, you're only allowed to transfer once. So if they're going to put stuff in there to sort of limit what the players do, stuff that most of us don't like anyway, multiple transfers,
right,
then it's fair game, I think, to say, okay, schools, you want to change conferences because you're money hungry, you have to go independent for 5 years before you can join that other conference. I think because limiting the players' ability to transfer is going to cut down on transfers, which we all like. And then limiting the school's ability to easily change from one conference to another will most likely cut down on that too. So that's interesting. We'll see if it passes.
Yeah, I support it. Next thing I wanted to ask you, I was thinking, what team do you hate most, Florida or Auburn? Like if someone had to say, for the next 10 years, you could pick one out of the two, Florida or Auburn, to be, who would you pick?
Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's about all I have for you. Thanks for taking my call, and I can't wait for the season to start.
All right, buddy. Good to hear from you. I appreciate you calling in. Jay Shipe says, Lou, what's the special program Clemson has for special kids trying to figure out the Bama version? It's called the Clemson Life Program. Hofer Billy Paul is a graduate Huffer Billy Paul in the comment section is a graduate of the Clemson Life program. That's what that is. Nicholas DePerno, thank you again for the super chat. He says, I'm a Georgia fan, but I'm fascinated to see what Florida does this year. I could see 9-3 or 8-4, but I got to see it to believe it. Yeah, I've got them at 8-4. I think they beat Auburn in week 3. Their schedule, it's not as difficult as it has been the last couple of years, but it's similar to their schedule, I think it was 2 years ago, where it's kind of backloaded. I think Florida has a chance to stack up some wins in the first half of the season, especially if they win that game on the road at Auburn in week 3. But they've got some extremely difficult games in the back half of the schedule that I think they're going to catch some losses there. But if they can make it through the first 5 or 6 games with only 1 or 2 losses, then I think they could potentially get to 8 wins. Yeah, especially if they beat Auburn in week 3. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Lou. How you doing?
I'm good.
All right. A little heads up. There's a little bit of an echo in StreamYard, so I didn't know if you were catching that.
I don't hear the echo.
All right. But there's one thing that just drives me crazy. I hate these neutral site week 1 games. I hate these so much. The environment stinks. The team that's losing, their fans leave at halftime. They're playing in a half-empty stadium. Like, can we please stop doing this? Like, LSU, this is our first time starting a game at home, a season at home, since 2020.
Yeah,
it's been 6 years.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think college football games should be played on college campuses. I think it's unfair to the students, the majority of which can't afford to travel. I've been to neutral site games, and I'm not going to say they're boring. They're not. Some of them are very entertaining, but neutral site games feel more like NFL atmospheres than they do college football atmospheres. And I'm not an NFL fan. They feel very corporate to me. There's a lot of people at neutral site games who aren't diehard fans of either team. And it's just not the same. It's not the same environment. It's not the same atmosphere. There's not the same enthusiasm from the crowd one way or the other when games aren't played on college campuses. I understand the bowl system and how it started and why those are neutral site games, and I've got no problem with that. I don't have a problem with the national championship being on neutral site. And maybe even the Final Four, the semifinals. But in the 12-team structure we have now, I would like to see 2 rounds of home playoff. It's got me in a scenario where I am almost rooting for my team to make the SEC championship game, but lose it. Because I just want to see my team play a home playoff game. Georgia's made the playoffs.
I'm honestly with you there.
Years, but they won the SEC. So they got a bye, which is great, but I want to see a home playoff game. I watched Ohio State host Tennessee. It was one of the greatest environments I've ever seen. Texas A&M hosting Miami last year, one of the greatest environments.
Indiana hosting Notre Dame.
Unbelievable environments. And I want that for my favorite team. Now, I never root for Georgia to lose, and if they make the SEC championship game again this year, I won't be rooting for them to lose. But if they do, it's going to be hard for me to act upset about it because I would be excited to see my team play a home playoff game. I wish we had 2 rounds of home playoff games so that winning your conference championship doesn't mean that you lose out on a home playoff game. So I agree with you.
I agree.
The regular season games are even worse because there is no legitimate reason to play regular season games on a neutral site campus other than money. That's it. I can understand the arguments that are made. We need to have playoffs on a neutral site. I disagree, but I understand the argument. There is no argument for Baylor and Auburn to play in Atlanta in week 1. None. Outside of money.
Absolutely none.
That's it. That's the only reason.
But 100%. Like you said, I would love to see a playoff game at Tiger Stadium. Like, that environment would be unbelievable. And, you don't see this with the NFL. Look how many playoff rounds they have. It's multiple playoff games at a home stadium.
Yeah. Notre Dame plays about 4 neutral site games a year in the regular season.
Exactly. And about these new rules that were brought up in this bill, I like these. I really do. Because it forces these schools to really think about transferring. Like, there's no reason Cal and Stanford should be in the ACC right now.
Yeah.
None.
Completely agree. Completely agree. And there's a rule in there to address the coaching thing too. So we talked about limiting the player's ability to transfer, which is anti-player. We talked about limiting a school's ability to immediately jump from one conference to another, which limits what the schools can do. There's a third one in there that limits what the coaches can do. You can't leave your school before the season is over. You can't. You can't take another job. You have to finish what you start. So they're calling it the Lane Kiffin rule. So what happened last year with Lane Kiffin would no longer be allowed to happen. LSU could not hire Lane Kiffin. It would be illegal, like it is in the NFL.
I still don't know. I still don't like the way we did it.
Nobody does. Yeah, nobody does.
I like a lot of these because look at some of these guys that are transferring. Some of these guys are starters, and they're just leaving.
Yeah,
like for no damn reason. Like it's like watching a worse NFL, where at least there they'll be there for a few years. College, hey, I like this guy. Nope, gone.
Yeah, another rule in there too.
I think these are all better for the game. The Big Ten and the SEC can cry.
Yeah,
but it has to happen.
Another rule in there too. So all these players now that are dipping their toe in the professional leagues and then changing their mind and coming back to college. Indiana got one today, by the way. A starting defensive lineman from last year's team had 16 tackles for loss last year. Entered the NFL draft back in April. Didn't get drafted. He announced today he's coming back to Indiana and he's playing this year. You'll no longer be allowed to do that either. The minute you entertain any professional league, you are excluded. Your college football eligibility is over immediately. So it'll fix that. It'll fix that.
I hope it does. It needs to happen. The changes need to. But hey, let's raise a drink. Have a fun season. Go Tigers. Good night, Lou.
Yeah, thank you for the call, my man. Good to hear from you. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. A few
buddy.
questions for you. So, did you see the Akron Zips announcement today?
No, I don't pay attention to the group of six. They should have their own
Well-
playoff, and it's not the same level of football that I'm interested in. But you can still tell me though.
No, yeah, they're letting a season ticket holder
Oh!
skip the first drive.
You know what? I did see somebody tag me in that on Twitter. Yeah. Which is funny because we make jokes about this all the time. Like when teams are bad or like they're not selling out games or whatever, you'll see this joke. It'll be like, oh, for $11, you can get a 50-yard line seat at a Tennessee game and they'll let you call plays in the first quarter. That's been a long time college football joke. Akron is actually doing that. They're going to hold a raffle for all the season ticket holders, and the lucky winner gets to call the first drive of the first game of the season. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is like shit you would see in minor league baseball when they have like gimmick night or whatever. Like I can't believe there's any serious college football program that is going to seriously even consider that. Never mind actually do it. But yeah, some lucky season ticket holder at Akron, which there's probably only about 17 of them, but one of them is going to get the opportunity to call the first offensive series of the year. Unbelievable.
I saw season tickets. I don't know if this is real, but they might only be like $75. So maybe Uncle Lou should throw his hand in.
Yeah, maybe. He needs to get a betting app that allows him to bet on whether a play will be a run or a pass and put his life savings on the first play of the game since he gets to call it.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it, Lou. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I forgot about that. Somebody tagged me in that on Twitter, and I don't even think I responded. I was just like, this is circus shit here. But nothing surprises me, honestly, anymore. Nothing surprises me. Florida State fans being delusional in the chat. Oh, yeah? Anything over 7 and 8 or 8 wins, I think, is delusional. So I don't know what they're saying, but I do think Florida State will be A lot better than last year's record. But it's hard to see. It's hard for me to see more than 7 or 8 wins there. And plus, Mike Norvell, if Florida State can find the money, is going to be fired like tomorrow, next week, a month from today, week 4. Like the minute they have the money to fire Norvell, he's gone. And, you know, the team's likely to go into give up mode after that. Did you see Josh Pate pick Notre Dame over Texas in the Natty? No, I did not see that. I'm not surprised. I mean, those are two. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that pick. That's not a crazy pick to me. Ooh, I think I have to retire from blackjack. Last time I played, I lost 10 out of 11 hands and went broke faster than I could spell the word broke. The first time I ever went to Vegas, I walked into the high limit room at the Flamingo, $100 a hand, and I lost the first 9. I bought in for $1,000, $100 a hand. I lost the first 9 hands I played. I think I won a couple of hands and then lost the next. Anyway, I lost $1,000 in about 12 minutes, if that. I've had those runs in blackjack too. The opposite can happen too. I mean, I've sat down and won 9 hands in a row too, so it's. It can be streaky that way. But yeah, that's aggravating. How was the weekend trip? We had a great time. It looked like the weather wasn't going to be very good. We wanted to spend some time at the pool up there, and we weren't sure we were going to be able to do it based on the weather reports, but we ended up leaving early Friday morning, got up there around 2:30, checked in, put our bags up, changed clothes, and went straight to the pool. Stayed at the pool till 4 or 5 o'clock, so we got a few hours at the pool on Friday. And then it was supposed to rain all day Saturday, but we got up Saturday morning and it wasn't raining at all. So we went back down there Saturday morning around 10, I guess, and stayed down there through lunchtime, ate lunch down there. We had a good time. It was me and the lady went with my brother and his wife, but we had a good time, yeah. Mike Norvell sucks, but it still go Knowles. Yeah, he's an absolute disaster. I love craps because the first time I played, I won like $1,000 in about 10 minutes. Hasn't happened since. Yeah, there's a lot of stories out there like that where it almost seems like the casino lets you win the first time you play something, so you think you like figured something out or whatever, and then you go back the next time and you lose your ass. Like there's a lot of stories out there like that. But I like craps too. It's probably the most exciting and social game you can play at the casino. Napier better than Mike Norvell? Yes. Yes. Lou, I'm surprised to see you're concerned about the Auburn game. I just assume since it's on the road, we'll lose by 30. Well, you should have lost by 30 last year, but you nearly won. I mean, there's been a lot of close Georgia-Auburn games where maybe people didn't necessarily see that coming. And my main concern about Georgia as it relates to that Auburn game is where it falls on the schedule. It's right after the game at Alabama. So whether things go good or things go bad for Georgia on the road at Bama, they're going to have to put it behind them, win or lose, and get ready for that Auburn game. And look, a quarterback that can run around like Byron Brown scares me as a Georgia fan. So could be an interesting game. Norvell could have won a natty in 2023. Or he could have lost to Georgia by 60. It's hard to convince people that a team that took the worst beating in postseason history could have won the natty. Hard to convince people of that. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up if you hadn't already. It's free, it's easy to do, and believe it or not, it is a big help. Our starters didn't even play in that game. Yeah, everybody's got starters out. But Florida State showed up to play the game, so the game counts, and you lost by 60. But the worst beating. There are players sit out of every bowl game that's ever played now. Nobody else is losing by 60. Just you. Just you. And you can talk about, well, Florida State didn't want to be there. Do you think Georgia wanted to be there? Georgia was back-to-back national champions. They won the Natty in 21. They won the Natty in 22. In 2023, they went 12-0. And then they lost the SEC championship game and went from first in the ranking to sixth in the ranking because they lost the SEC championship game. So don't talk to me about how Florida State didn't want to be in the Orange Bowl. Neither did Georgia. They wanted to be in the playoffs. But things don't always go your way, buddy. Things don't always go your way. And Georgia showed up and beat the absolute soul and will to live out of Florida State, and they haven't been the same since. Georgia killed the Florida State football program. It was an execution on live TV. Should Clemson be in the top 25? I won't have them in mind, or Penn State. Now, I do think both Clemson and Penn State could finish in the top 25, but that's not how I do my top 25s are not based on where I think someone will finish. And I'm not just talking about my preseason top 25. When I put out my rankings in week 6, my week 6 rankings will reflect what I've seen the first 6 weeks of college football, not what I think I will see over the next 7 or 8 weeks. And I'll give you an example here. Ohio State and Oregon are ranked 1 and 2 here. All right. They play each other. One of them's got to lose. So you say, well, one of them's going to get a loss. To me, like, that doesn't matter. So that's like looking at this and going, well, I think Oregon should be like 8th or 9th because they're going to lose when they play Ohio State. I don't look at it that way. I rank them based on where I think they deserve to be ranked today. Now, in the preseason, there's no games for us to go on. So we're going off of how much talent is on the roster. How did that talent perform last year? Is the coaching staff intact? Do they have a returning quarterback? If they do, was he good last year? You don't have any games from this year's team to go on. And if I had a complaint about the AP or the coaches poll, I think if you're going to put out preseason rankings, you need to be willing to make drastic adjustments to those rankings in week 2, week 3, and week 4 once we start playing games. And I'll give you an example. I had Alabama ranked in the top 10 last year in the preseason. I didn't have Florida State ranked at all. They played week 1. Florida State beat Alabama. I moved Florida State all the way into, not just into my ranking, I moved them ahead of Alabama. Each team had played once, and Florida State beat them. So other rankings didn't do that. They might have moved Florida State into the top 25, but they still had Bama ahead of Florida State. If Bama is 0-1 and Florida State's 1-0, and they played, Florida State has to be ahead of Bama. So that's how I rank the team. So I make a lot of changes to my top 25 in the first few weeks of the season. The further the season goes, the further along we are in the season, the smaller the changes become from week to week, because you've got, in week 10, you've got 9 data points to look at. In week 12, you've got 11 data points to look at. So you're moving, a win or a loss affects a team littler and littler to me as the season goes along. Ty Skizzy says, thank you for the super chat, Ty. Do you think a few players sitting out is equivalent to our entire offense and defense opting out? Your entire offense and defense didn't opt out. You can make as many excuses about that ass beating as you want. I mean, this is part of the problem here. This was 4 seasons ago. You're still crying about it. You took the worst beating in postseason history. Every single team that has ever made a bowl game, especially in the last 10 years, has players that opt out, sit out, they're injured, whatever the case. Florida State signed a piece of paper and showed up to play that game. Have you ever played sports at any level at all, Ty? From rec league to, have you ever played sports at any level? There's never been a team in history that showed up to play a game with the expectation of losing. Not a single one. Florida State showed up to that game to win, and they got their ass beat by 60. Why? Because their coach, their administration, their players, and their fans spent the 4 weeks leading up to that game crying like an 8-year-old girl instead of preparing for the game. That's why. It was one of the most embarrassing, in fact, it was the most embarrassing postseason performance in college football history. Period. Period. Georgia played for the Natty in 2017 and lost in overtime. In 2018, they didn't make the playoffs, so they had to go to the Sugar Bowl and play Texas, and they lost. Guess what? They lost. They lost. They had players that sat out. Doesn't matter. They had a starting DB that instead of coming to practice on some random Tuesday before the Sugar Bowl, he decided to go to the beach. Didn't tell anybody, just disappeared. Just doesn't matter. Georgia showed up to play against Texas, and they lost. That's it. And Florida State showed up to the Orange Bowl and got beat by 60, period. And since then, they've been the worst program in college football. No. Here's what it is. And then, this is how stupid your administration is, Ty. After getting humiliated by 60 because your coaching staff didn't have the ability to coach their team up for the bowl game, they gave him a raise and an extension, Ty. They gave Mike Norvell a raise and an extension because he lost the Orange Bowl by 60. And guess what? That raise and that extension is why he's still your coach today. Because you can't afford to fire him. Because of your own administration's stupidity. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou. Haven't called in a while, but man, like I just can't wait for the season to start.
Me too.
Kind of feel like a fiend right now. Like I'm kind of like scratching and itching, but yeah, but what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, the coaches poll. I get kind of tired of people that like cry and complain about coaches poll. Like, oh, like Missouri shouldn't be ranked. It should be Louisville. And it's like, who cares, dude? It's a preseason poll. If Louisville goes and beats Ole Miss and Missouri does what Missouri does, then, I mean, breaking news, Louisville will be ranked.
Yeah, well, not only that, this poll doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This poll doesn't even matter in week 12. Like, the coaches poll has nothing to do with anything. Nothing. Has nothing to do.
It's just what coaches think.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't have anything to do with who makes the playoff. Like, the only ranking that even matters at all is the playoff ranking, which doesn't even come out till week 10. Like, so this ranking, obviously this ranking doesn't matter because it's a preseason ranking, but the coaches ranking doesn't matter in week 10, week 12, right after conference champion. It never matters. But people, any ranking look, I put out a ranking every Monday during the season. You should see the comments section. It's unbelievable. People.
Yeah, it's usually.
It's so mad. It's so mad.
I mean, it's usually something stupid like, oh, no, I don't think Georgia's fourth. I think they're third. And it's like, bro, who cares?
That drives me up the wall, too, when you make a big deal over one or two spots. Like, I think a better way to look at any ranking is like groups. Like I look at this top 25 and I look at the top 7 teams and I go, okay, my top 7 doesn't look like that, but it's the same 7 teams. They're in a little bit of a different order. Like, nothing on here really jumps out at me as, wow, this is just completely ridiculous. Even Penn State and Clemson, which I talked about earlier, I don't have them in my top 25. But if you look at Penn State you look at their schedule, the fact that they transferred in an entire starting roster from Iowa State, along with the coaching staff from there, and you go, you know what? They're probably going to win 8 or 9 games. Well, if that's the case, they might finish at 17. It's the same with Clemson, by the way. It's not like Clemson has to play a bunch of top 10 teams this year. They don't. They play Miami. That's it. I mean, they might win 8 or 9 games. And if they do, they'll probably finish ranked around 23rd, which is where they are here. So I disagree with having them in a preseason ranking because I don't make my rankings based on how I think a team is going to finish. And I don't think they deserve to be in a preseason top 25 based on the seasons they had a year ago. But even that, if you want to argue, it makes a little bit of sense. But there's really nothing on here that I go, wait a minute, that's just completely ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the Clemson thing, I mean, they didn't play a lot of top 10 teams last year, and they still, I mean, they had the most talented roster, or second most talented roster in the ACC, and they lost to Duke.
Yeah.
Like,
they were bad. They were real bad. Yeah, they were very bad.
Yeah, it was concerningly bad.
Yeah.
But no, what was I going to say? Because I just watched your strength of schedule video on the SEC, and I was thinking the same thing after SEC Media Days. It was like, this is why people hate the SEC.
Yes.
It's stupid comments like Lane Kiffin saying like, oh, I think that we should, if we go 9-3 or 8-4 or whatever he said, we should get in over 11-1 ACC or Big 12 team. It's like, no, you shouldn't, dude. Like, yes, on a power rating, could you probably beat BYU or something like that? Yeah, probably. But we got to go with what happened on the field, and BYU went 11-1, and you lost a quarter to a third of your games.
Yeah, the other thing that we're SEC fans, and not all of them, because I'm an SEC fan too, but it's easy to see this when it's happening in real time, is SEC fans a lot of times are not consistent in their arguments. So take the strength of schedule debate. Well, SEC fans used to brag that, oh, you know, we play the toughest schedules. We're battle tested when we get into the playoffs and blah, blah, blah. Well, now it's the exact opposite. They're going, well, of course, Indiana won the Natty. They didn't have to play anybody in the regular season. Well, which is it? Does playing a tough schedule make you battle tested and ready for the playoffs? Or did Indiana only win the Natty because they weren't battle tested during the regular season? Like, you can't change your argument based on the outcome. You have to make a decision and stick and stick by it. Yes, there are SEC schedules that are absolutely brutal. There are Big Ten schedules that are absolutely brutal. There's Big Ten schedules that are a joke, like Penn State. Texas A&M schedule last year was a joke in the SEC.
Yeah, it was bad.
An absolute joke. They played one top half team in the SEC and they lost, but they went 11-1. And what's funny is when you catch SEC fans arguing with each other, Texas fans will tell Texas A&M fan, you didn't play nobody. But then that same Texas fan will tell a Big Ten fan, every schedule in the SEC is hard. Yeah. Well, which is it? Did Texas A&M not play anybody and only win 11-1 because they beat up on the bottom half of the SEC? Or is every SEC an NFL schedule? These fans are changing their argument to try to fit a conclusion. You can't take an 11-1 ACC team and leave them out of the playoffs in favor of a 9-3 SEC team. You just can't do that. If that's the case, we don't need to play the games at all. You can just put a power rating out and say, well, this team has this much talent, and this team only has this much talent. So therefore, this team's getting in and that team's not. That's great until we see the games played. The games have to matter. Yeah. The games have to matter. No, and Texas fans that are hung up on this loss to Ohio State, they keep going, well, if we would have scheduled Western Kentucky instead of Ohio State, how about be a man and go, if we would have beat Florida, instead of trying to look for an easier route, look in the mirror and go, we should have beat Florida. And if we would have, we'd have been in the playoff. But we didn't. We lost to a 4-8 Florida team. We got blown out by Georgia. We finished 9-3, and there were too many 10-2 and 11-1 teams ahead of us. And we need to get better. No, they don't want to do that. They want to go, well, take Ohio State off the schedule, and we would have been 10-2. Or beat Florida. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, if you want to go the hypothetical route, okay, let's say they play Western Kentucky instead of Ohio State. I mean, Texas still had a lot of games where they played bad, and they could have lost to Mississippi State or Kentucky. And like, so if you want to go the hypothetical route, who knows if they lose another one of those games? Like,
right.
I don't like going the hypothetical route. I
They
really
were down
don't.
21 points in the fourth quarter to Mississippi State. Now they ended up winning. That's great. They ended up winning, and that's great, and they got credit for that win. You know, and the other thing they do that's starting to make me mad is they're acting like strength of schedule is not considered at all by the playoff committee. And it is.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
There are multiple 2-loss teams that are, let me ask you this, and you might not know, it's a gotcha thing. But okay, Utah was 10-2 last year. Texas was 9-3. Who was ranked higher in the final playoff ranking? Texas.
Texas was 13
Why?
and Utah was like 15.
Why?
Yeah, strength of schedule.
Thank you. These people want strength of schedule to be all that matters. That can't be the case. Stop telling me, well, if they're not going to value strength of schedule, they do value strength of schedule. Why do you think Georgia at 11-1 was ranked higher than Texas Tech at 11-1? Why? Why wasn't Texas Tech ranked higher than Georgia? Strength of schedule. So they are accounting for strength of schedule, but here's what they don't want to hear. They're accounting for wins and losses too. Wins and losses are why we play. That at the core of why we play at all is to determine a winner and a loser. So the SEC people are really embarrassing themselves with the strength of schedule stuff. They really are. And it's a different fan base every year based on who gets left out of the playoffs. And win more games is all I can tell you. Like I said, nobody's got a better case than me to cry about their team getting left out of the playoffs. Georgia won the Natty in 21. They went 15-0 and won the Natty in 22. They then went 12-0 in the regular season in 23. 12-0. Lost the SEC championship game. They were the number 1 ranked team in the playoff poll going into the SEC championship game. They lost to Bama. They dropped from 1st to 6th. Now, I could have bitched and moaned and, oh, this is ridiculous. Even though we lost to Bama, we would still beat this team or that team, and we should be, I came on the next day and I said, win the fucking game. You know what I said? I said that was a playoff game. You knew going in that you had to win that game. Therefore, that was basically a playoff game, the Georgia-Bama game, and you lost. Beat them and you're in. But a lot of Georgia fans, all this bullshit, strength of schedule, and if we didn't have to do win the game, man. Win the game and you're in. So, yes, the strength of schedule debate has gotten completely out of hand in the world of college football. Now, it's also true that the last 3 national championship winners combined played 0 Power 4 non-con opponents in the regular season. Michigan in 23, Ohio State in 24, Indiana in 25. They played 0 Power 4 non-con opponents. Not a single one. The 2 Natty winners before that, Georgia in 21, Georgia in 22, 10. 10 Power 4 opponents in the regular season. So there are fair points to be made on both sides of this strength of schedule argument between the Big Ten and the SEC. The Big Ten needs to mandate 1 non-con Power 4 opponent a year, like the SEC does. That is true. That needs to happen. Indiana,
have you seen the Indiana?
Oh, yeah. You can look you can look from now to the end of time on Indiana's schedule. There's not a single Power 4 opponent to be found non-con. They have scheduled all Group of 5 and FCS opponents from now to the end of time under Kurt Cignetti. That has to stop. They need to be required to play. They need to be required to play one. So, like the SEC can argue that point to the Big Ten, man. That's fine. But the SEC guys have got to stop with the strength of schedule as the end-all, be-all. If that's the case, then we're working towards a point. Everybody's talking about AI these days, right? you're getting to a point where you don't need to play a regular season. AI can tell you these are the 12 best teams because of the rosters and blah, 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 blah. And that this way the players don't get injured. We just skip the regular season and here's your playoff. If strength of schedule is all that's going to matter, or power ratings. This is another one, power ratings. I wish power ratings would go away because people get confused. They don't know what they're looking at. They get mad for no reason because they don't understand why a 4-loss team is ranked 15th. And I'm like, well, that's a power rating. It's not a poll. It's not a ranking. It's a rating. But the whole thing is a giant. College football's done this to itself. I mean, there's an easy solution here. We've got 4 power conferences. They could do what every other sport on the planet does. Send the top 4 teams from each of the 4 conferences into a 16-team playoff. Problem solved. No more committee. No more ESPN bias. No more. The non-con schedules would no longer matter. Top 4 teams, and you make it the lead. You make each conference responsible for selecting their 4 teams, so that there's no outside interference. The SEC at the end of the regular season has to say these are our 4 participants. The ACC says, okay, these are our 4. Big Ten says, okay, these are our 4. That's what every other league on the planet does. Just do that. Well, they don't want to do that because that's way too easy and makes too much sense. Instead, you got a committee. People don't know who's on the committee. You got serious college football fans who really think that the playoff committee is ESPN employees sitting in a room. They have no idea that it's the athletic director from Michigan and the athletic director from Nebraska and the athletic director from Navy. They've got no idea. And everything is ESPN's fault because they have a contract with the SEC. And I'm like, well, who does the ACC have a contract with? And they go, oh, ESPN, but that's different. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's right. And does the Big 12 have a contract with ESPN too? Well, yeah, they do. But that's also different. Well, no, the outcomes are different because the SEC is better than the ACC and the Big 12, but it got nothing to do with fucking ESPN. These people, they think ESPN's hiding under their bed like the fucking boogeyman.
Yeah. No, and then also I wanted to talk about, I noticed that the pool of teams that complain, because in the 4 team, or let's go back to the BCS. Like in the BCS, the 3 team would complain. The 3, maybe the 4. Yeah. In the 4 team playoff, it was the 5 and 6. Yep. Most of the time, just the 5. Yep. In the 12 team playoff, you've doubled the amount of crying and moaning and complaining. Yeah. In a 24-team playoff, it's going to get worse.
Everybody. Yeah. And that's the thing. They go, oh, well, BCS is only 2 teams. That's not fair to the 3 and 4 team. We got to go to a 4-team playoff. Oh, well, that's not fair to 5 and 6. Got to go to 12. Well, that's not fair to 13 and 14. Got to go to 20. Yeah, it's never going to end. It would never stop. It's just expand. Yeah. To the point where now everybody's in the fucking playoff now. And then they go, no, expanding the playoffs not going to affect the regular season. It already has. Look at all these non-con games. We're a year or 2 away from conference championship games going away. The Big Ten championship game was the 3rd most watched football game all of last year. And I got Big Ten fans every day telling me the Big Ten championship game don't matter. Well, have you tried telling college football fans that? Because it was the 3rd most, the SEC championship was like the 5th most watched game of the year. The top 2 are like the national title game, the semifinals, but more people watch the Big Ten championship game than watch Tulane get drugged by Ole Miss. More people watch the SEC championship than watched Oregon beat the fuck out of James Madison. But all of a sudden now those games don't matter. So, but, some people saw this coming with all this never-ending playoff expansion talk. Oh, it's going to affect the regular season. And people are like, no, it won't. No, it won't. It will, and it already has.
Yeah, I think we got to get away from the word meaningless. And look, you can't take away meaning from a conference championship game, but you can take away stakes. So like the Big Ten championship was stakeless, not meaningless. I mean, the Big Ten championship.
Georgia fan will tell me, well, yeah, Georgia won the SEC championship, but what did that get them? It got them an SEC championship, you fucking moron. What are you... That's what it got him. The same Georgia fan, by the way, will then argue with a Florida fan. Oh, we got more SEC championships than you, Florida fan. Then they'll turn around to me and tell me they don't care about SEC champions. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Of course you do. I got to go, man. You done got me all worked up. Great call, though, Carson. Thank you for calling in. I hope to hear back from you again soon. Be all worked up here at the end of the show. He's right about getting away from the word meaningless. Meaningless has become code for my team lost and I can't cope with it. That's what it's become. Ohio State loses to Michigan, right? But then they go on to win the Natty. So then the Ohio State fan wants to come back and tell you what, that game didn't matter. Didn't matter. Meaningless. We still won the Natty. Still won the Natty. Same Ohio State fan will then turn around and tell you that the Ohio State-Michigan game is the best and biggest rivalry in all of sports. Both things can't be true, bud. Both things cannot be true. It can't be that you lost to Michigan but won the Natty, and so you're going to tell me that the Michigan game didn't matter and it was no big deal, and then turn around out of the other side of your mouth and tell me that that's the biggest rivalry game in all of sports. One of those two things is a lie. One of those two things is a lie. Would you take a bet on that UGA 11-1 record, as in 10-2 or worse? The only bet I will make on win totals are on the actual numbers, not on my predictions. So I will have to look up what the actual win total is for Georgia. I'll look that up now. I think it's 9.5. The win total for Georgia is at 10.5. So if you want to make a bet on a win total, and I think that's what you said, if the win total is 10.5. So yes, I will make the bet on the win total at 10.5. So Georgia has to go 11-1 or better. For me to win, Georgia would have to go 10-2 or worse for you to win. Yes, I will do that. You have the PayPal and Cash App info, don't you, Joelish? If you don't, it's in the description of the video. But yes, I will take that bet. Just send it to either my Cash App or my PayPal. And in the note, right, Georgia under 10.5 wins. And I'll add it to the list here. Ramon says, as a Miami fan, I desperately need the ACC to be good. I'm not trying to hear a 3-month narrative of how any good team could win the conference. Good point, Ramon. And I don't know what your thoughts on this are, so what I'm about to say is not directed at you. It's directed towards Miami fans in general. But Miami fans running around saying they don't care that they haven't won the ACC in 25 years because we made the Natty game last year. Yes, you do care. Yes, you do. If and when Miami wins the ACC this year, if Miami wins the ACC this year, Miami fans will 100% brag about it. And they should. There's only 2 trophies you can win. And Miami hadn't won any in 25 years. If Miami would have won the ACC last year and everything else was the same, they went on and lost in the national title game, they would be bragging to the rest of the ACC that they won the ACC. 100%. And they should. But there's only 2 trophies you can win, a conference title or a national title. And it's been 25 years since Miami won either one. So they will 100% brag if they win the ACC. And they should win the ACC this year. They should win the ACC this year. Mitch, thank you for the super chat. He says, you the man, Lou. Haven't been able to join many live streams due to work, but good to catch some of this one. Yeah, I'm glad you're able to tune in, Mitch. Season be here soon. You're going to have to adjust that work schedule, bud. We need you here for football season. All right, guys, I'm sticking up for Gary now. I keep hearing y'all mention Gary, but I haven't seen Gary in the comments. Yeah. Watch it. Somehow be Louisville versus SMU in the ACC championship game. I like both teams. I would probably lean Louisville. I think Louisville might beat Ole Miss in week 1, y'all. If we're us SEC people are going to have our head under the couch if Ole Miss goes out week 1 and loses to Louisville. You know the SEC had a losing record to the ACC last year. If Ole Miss loses that week 1 game to Louisville, you might as well log off the internet for a week or two. Gary's being over emotional about Bama. Oh, so he's just a normal Bama fan then. Okay. Gary is definitely Porky Pigging it with his pants off right now. All right. Well, y'all got it in for this Gary character, but I haven't seen him in the comments. ACC is just superior to the American, barely. The ACC is in 4th place in terms of the Power 4 conferences right now. Fall camp starting. We're almost there. Off-season delusion has me thinking Michigan is a top 9 to 12 team. That being said, I have us at 9-3. Should be lots of fun games this season for the Michigan man. Yeah, they got a great schedule if you like watching good games. They got a tough schedule. Look, if Bryce Underwood plays at the level that everybody sort of expected him to coming out of high school, Michigan could win 1 or 2 of those games that I think right now most people are expecting Michigan to lose. And I feel like people forget that Michigan was 9-3 last year. They kind of just go, well, yeah, Bryce Underwood is terrible, and Justice Haynes got hurt, and Sharon Moore got fired. Those are all signs of like a terrible team. But Michigan went 9-3. It's not like Michigan has to double their wins to have a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, they're not Florida or Florida State. I mean, if 10-2, they're with that schedule, a 10-2 Michigan would get in. I feel like. Michigan would have beat Bama again last year. Now, I know you're not declaring hypothetical wins after spending 20 years telling the SEC man not to talk about hypothetical wins. That can't be what you're doing. Outside of Norvell, who do you think is the next coach to get canned? I think Luke Fickell is a possibility. I think Lincoln Riley is a possibility. I think Shane Beamer is a possibility. That's a pretty good list. Oh, that was for Gary. I got you. Okay. Oh, we had a great time, Cherokee. Yeah. Great time. Proposing Sunday day seems to speed up now. Oh, well, then I got to get something to you then. Can you email me tomorrow, K-Stark? I could probably find that email if I looked, but I've had that email address for so long that I literally get like 100 emails a day. Can you email me again tomorrow, and that'll be my reminder to get that thing to you that we talked about? Who's a better coach, Brent Venables or Lincoln Riley? You got to go with Lincoln Riley right now. I mean, I feel like who's better today? Like, who would I rather have today? I'd probably rather have Brent Venables. Like, if I was an athletic director and I could hire either Brent Venables or Lincoln Riley, I would probably hire Brent Venables. But if you were to make a list right now where you were ranking like an all-time list of coaches, Lincoln Riley would be ahead of Brent Venables in like an all-time type of deal. Yeah, I think Louisville is the biggest snub here in this coach's top 25. SEC might want to try winning a playoff game. They won playoff games last year. if you want to talk about who's never won a playoff game, Florida State comes to mind. Here's some trivia for you, Ty. Who lost the first ever college football playoff game? The ACC is like the third best conference in college football. I would have the Big 12 ahead of them. I would have the Big 12 ahead of the ACC. I think it's close, though. Yeah, Oklahoma has the most playoff appearances without a win. I want to go to Vegas, but I don't know how to make it work financially because it always seems like you guys have a blast. I mean, I've got a couch or a floor you can sleep on if you can just find a way to get there. You know, plane ticket. I don't know where you live, but it's about $400 from the East Coast to anywhere along the East Coast to get to round trip to Vegas. If you can find a way to get there, I've got a couch and a floor out there. You're welcome to sleep on. We can get you pillows and blankets. You won't be the only one. There's several people staying with me. You're more than welcome to come. We do have a great time. I thought Jameis Winston won playoff games. You did? Add that to the list of things you were wrong about, Vandy Dandy. Jameis Winston won a natty in the last year of the BCS. That's probably what you're thinking of. The following year, Florida State lost to Oregon in the first round of the playoffs, first ever playoff game. Oh, you live in Tennessee. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know there was a guy last year flew from Memphis to Vegas round trip for under $300. Slim Shady Canes. Over or under, Southern Cal gives 150 points combined to Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. I'd love to take the over just because I've been years clowning on Lincoln Riley and his defense, but that's 50 points a game to those three, so I'm going to take the under there. But if they don't figure defense out, Oregon and Ohio State in particular will put up some serious points on Southern Cal. I could see a couple of those teams getting into the 40s if they don't have the defense figured out. Which conference is better all time, ACC or Big 12? With the current teams, it's the ACC by a mile. Mostly because of Florida State and Clemson. Which, by the way, it's also because of Florida State and Clemson why the ACC is the fourth best league right now. The ACC can't be a good league when Florida State and Clemson are both dog shit. And right now that's the case. How long did it take Georgia to reach the playoff? 4 years? We had 4 years of a playoff. First playoff was in 2014. Georgia made the playoffs in 2017. UGA is a better program than FSU. Yeah, that's not even close. I mean, Georgia's in the conversation for best program in the country right now. I mean, Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana, Oregon. Those are probably the best four programs in the country right now. Let's make a circus bet. What do you want to bet on? I don't think Clemson can get much better with Dabo as coach. You don't think they can get much better than 7-6 like they were last year? I think they can get better than that. I don't think Dabo's winning another natty. I think those days are long gone, but I think Clemson can get back to respectability. I mean, they made the playoffs 2 years ago with Dabo. Lou, did you hear that Georgia's wearing white helmets for a home game? I did not hear that. I think that's retarded. If they're going to do an alternate uniform, why don't they wear the black? I mean, people ask for the black all the time, they won't do it. I mean, I've seen those white uniforms. I've seen pictures of those white uniforms. They look good, but I wouldn't understand doing an alternate uniform and it not being black. Does Bill Belichick get fired this year if they're as bad as last year? Yes, if one of two things happens. Number one, if they can afford the buyout, which is huge because they gave him a $100 million deal. Or, number two, if they can find a for-cause reason to fire him, which they might be able to do. They might be able to fire him for cause, in which case they wouldn't have to pay the buyout. But I do think they're going to be terrible again this year. I mean, Belichick's buyout's got to be 60 or 70 million. I mean, we can look it up, but I mean, he's going into only his second year. Let me see what his buyout is. $30 million if they fire him prior to 2027. So $30 million, I would assume, is affordable for North Carolina. I don't know their finances, but I would assume that $30 million is affordable for North Carolina if they choose to fire him. Austin Smith, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Go Dogs." Yep, go Dogs. Ooh, wrong one. There you go. Thank you, Austin. I think Oregon has a really good chance to win the Natty. The only question I have about Oregon won't be answered until the postseason, because on paper, they might be the best team in the country. They are absolutely loaded. They are absolutely loaded. Their defensive line is ridiculous. Dante Moore would have been the second quarterback drafted last year. He's really good. But their playoff performances have been bad under Dan Lanning. I know they got a couple of wins last year, but let's be real. It was James Madison and Texas Tech, and then they played Indiana and looked like they'd never seen a football before. And then you go back the year before that, they were down 30 points to Ohio State before anybody even knew what was going on. Any chance the Vols get to 10 wins this year, Lou? Well, they'd have to pull off a couple of upsets. And for that to happen, whatever quarterback they choose, and it's probably going to be Faison, would have to play at a ridiculously high level. And it's hard to predict anybody to do that. Anybody. At any team. Freshman quarterback. That's asking a lot. And even if that happens, then you need Jim Knowles to fix that defense in his first year. And the odds of one of those things happening, I don't think is above 50%. The odds of both of them happening are 5 to 10%. So could it happen? It could. But they're going to need Faison to play like a third-year guy, not a freshman. And they would need a miracle by Jim Knowles in year one. And you don't see that very often. Either of those things. Mizzou over the Gamecocks. I think that'll be a good game. South Carolina's got to find a way to run the ball. I mean, everybody, look, Dylan Stewart's great on defense. Lenore Sellers, if he plays like he played 2 years ago, is an NFL player. Nicholas Harbor is a matchup problem for anybody they play. But South Carolina has had like a bottom 2 or 3 rushing team in the SEC every year that Shane Beamer's been there. Even the year they went 9-3, they couldn't run the fucking ball. And I don't know that they've done enough to fix that. When did UGA go 4-8? Not in my lifetime. We're going to get football later this month. Yeah, week 0 on August 29th. And if you're into NFL at all, you have a preseason game on Thursday. I'm not all that into the NFL. I'll probably watch some of that NFL preseason game just to scratch my football itch. Indiana's coordinators are each top 10. And it's a miracle that Cignetti's been able to hold on to both of them. I don't think that will be the case next year. Particularly the defensive coordinator at Indiana, I think is gone after this year. Who's FSU's coach next year? Dan Mullen. I mean, I have no idea. I have no clue. It could be the defensive coordinator at Indiana. Carson Beck is starting the Hall of Fame game. He may win the starting job there. When is Alabama or Wisconsin season prediction coming out? They're both on the list, so I don't know when, but they're both of them will. I am doing both of those. I've got the list of teams left to do here, and they're both on there. I might do Alabama tomorrow. Why isn't Indiana in the coach top 25 poll? They are. They're right there at number 6. Can't wait for Lou's copious notes to come back. Yeah, so it's always weird with week 1. So week 0, we only have games on Saturday, and there's only 4 or 5. So I'll do your season is over on the Sunday of week 0, which will be August 30th. Week 1 is always tricky because there are games on Sunday night and Monday night. So I think what I've done in the past is I've done a your season is over video Sunday during the day, and that covers the Thursday games, the Friday games, and the Saturday games. And then I usually do a second your season is over video Tuesday morning of heading into week 2 to cover the Sunday night and Monday night games of week 1. But it's always a little tricky to do the your season is over stuff once the games aren't all played on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is the case in week 1. Congrats to B. John Robinson, by the way. Yeah, signed a humongous contract. That's the good news. The bad news is it looks like Tua is going to be handing the ball off to him in week 1. The Falcons just continue to do dumb shit personnel-wise year after year after year. Tua shouldn't even be allowed to play football anymore. There ought to be some kind of board or something in the NFL that can step in and tell a player you can't play anymore. This guy has had so many concussions. I mean, I hate to see what he's going to be like when he's 40 years old. Dan Mullen would definitely be better than the last two coaches that Florida State has had. He'd be better than Willie Taggart, and he'd be better than Norvell. That's 100% for sure. Let's be real. Dan Mullen's the best coach Florida's had since Urban Meyer. You know? Florida would be way better off right now if they would have kept Dan Mullen. Way better off. I mean, obviously, there was no way to know that at the time that Billy Napier was going to crash and burn like he did. But clearly, Florida would have been way better off to keep Mullen. North Carolina versus TCU. I'm taking TCU in a low-scoring game. I'm probably going to bet the under. I'll have to wait and see what the spread is before I decide on taking TCU. TCU will be a favorite, but how much, I don't know. Anything under a touchdown, I would probably take TCU. Anything over, anything 7 to 10, I'd have to think about. Anything 10 or over, I would probably take North Carolina. What's Norvell's record at FSU? I don't know, but it's a losing record. By November, Tennessee will be wishing they paid Nico the money. I think UCLA could be pretty good this year, and Tennessee fans aren't going to want to watch that. But I think UCLA, will be pretty good. I think UCLA and Tennessee will have about the same record this year. I think both of those teams will get to about 8 wins. NC State versus Virginia. Man. Off the top of my head, I would lean NC State, but I'm going to have to look into that some more before I make a final determination. What are the week 0 games? TCU and North Carolina and NC State and Virginia. There's a couple of other games too, but those are the only 2 Power 4 games. Do you watch college basketball, Lou? I watch some college basketball in the regular season after football season ends, just for something to do. But I love the NCAA tournament. I watch that every year. I wouldn't want Norvell for anything other than some type of offensive analyst role. I wouldn't want him as an on-field coach. Not even a quarterback coach. Is Jaden Baugh the best running back this year? I think Ahmad Hardy is probably the best running back in the SEC. I think Jaden Baugh and Keywan Lacey are the next in line. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate everybody who called in tonight. Can't have a call-in show without callers, so shout out to everybody who took the time to call in. It was good to hear from y'all. I always like talking college football with y'all. We will do it again Thursday night at 9, every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 o'clock. Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. So make sure you tune back in for that. Prediction videos coming out the rest of this week. I will probably put something out about the coaches poll tomorrow as well. So please make sure you check those out. I really appreciate it. And another reminder, too, to those of you, the Patreon page. We'll start the Patreon streams week 0, hanging out and watching college football every Saturday during the season over on the Patreon page. So if you're one of those people that normally signs up during the season and then cancels in the off season, keep in mind we're just a couple of weeks away now. So the link to the Patreon page is in the description of the video. Make sure you check it out. You'll be glad you did. We have a great time over on that Patreon stream. I'm ready to start giving some more money away, too. Gave away a lot of money over there last year, and we'll do it again this year. So make sure you check that out. Link is in the description, and I will see all of you hopefully Thursday night at 9. Appreciate you watching. Have a good